So yeah, another project. I just got a Watermaker. That's gonna be fun. Brand new filters. Yeah, so this is gonna be the lift pump or boost pump. Here's the high pressure pump unit. Little Wonder by Village Marine. Most important part, membrane housing with membrane. Need a new end cap. I got that ordered, but that's not a big deal. And some hoses. So yeah, it's gonna be most likely where I'm gonna mount it onto my rebirth. I'm not gonna sleep in a rebirth anyway, so perfect spot for a Watermaker. Here's my filter system. The 5 micron and the 0.5 micron, 3 filters. And so those are basically 2 shut-off valves. This line is going to be coming from the raw water intake from the boat, going through the sea strain, of course. So this is going to be open, and this is going to be closed for now because this is going to be coming back from my holding tank for flushing the membrane housing. But so this stays closed for now and this stays open. Under here is my holding tank, and here's on this wall I'm gonna mount the membrane housing and the pump. I already got this flow meter installed. We are the valves basically for taking the sample water, and then of course after that's okay, diverting it into the holding tank. I'm not using the V-berth for sleeping in it because for several reasons. Number one, I'm claustrophobic. Number two, I'm old, I'm fat, and yeah, it's just it's not very comfortable, and I'm by myself on my boat. So, and on the Alberg 37, even though despite the fact this boat is around 38 foot long, it has very little interior space because the beam is only like a little bit more than 10 feet. So there is really no other logical place to put the Watermaker except up front in the V-berth. I also do not like, it's like some people do, they pack those Watermakers into little spaces, and then if they have to service them, it's just gonna be just a pain in the ass. And I'd like to have it in the open, so if anything goes wrong and I'm out there in the water, I can easily diagnose a problem and maybe repair or something. The Little Wonder Watermaker 160 to 200, I guess it stands for 160 to 200 gallon per day. I guess the 160 is for the fact if you run it with a 12 volt pump, and the 24 volt pump probably produces a little bit more. And here's of course the setup with the pressure gauge, the switch over valve, which should be right now by default open. So this here's the water outlet, which hopefully produces clean drinking water. If the membrane still works, so there should be the flow of the desalinated water going through the water flow maker and then the next steps. So yeah, this little thing is actually quite heavy. So yeah, this is the high pressure pump. Village Marine, let's see, Village Marine tach. The motor is 12 volt, driven by a tooth belt, and that's the pump itself. And that's where I had problems with the pump. Wouldn't build up any pressure because the previous owner, or the person who took it out of the boat, for some reason he powered this pump up and ran it completely dry. That burned up the seals. And yeah, that's gonna be another video, because it was like quite a drama with those seals and the excessive price gouging this company does. It's just, that's from out of this world. But that's gonna be something I'm gonna describe in a different video, and I have a couple of workarounds to save quite some money. Okay, so that's that pump, and now on to the next one. Okay, so this is this hose is going to be for the brine discharge. It goes right here. So apparently the way this works, once everything is going and the pump is primed, you run everything. This is going on to bypass, and then this valve for the sample water is going to be open. The valve for the tank fill is closed at this time. The high pressure valve is open, so the pumps are going to be turned on. The water is going to go through, go to bypass, basically bypasses through this hose here, and comes out and gets discharged through the brine hose, and then supposed to slowly close this valve and see if the pressure comes up. And that's what happened before. The pressure didn't come up, so because the seal was burned up inside this pump manifold. So the next step is going to be the boost pump. High pressure feed line hose or whatever. So yeah, this goes on the back of the membrane housing. That's high pressure water inlet. And then second one goes here on the high pressure pump outlet. That's connected. High pressure hose coming out, going through this hose, and the back of membrane housing going through there, and then the rest is the busy ends here. And this is the gauge that will show me how much boost pump pressure I'm gonna put in there. Okay, all the plumbing work is done here. At least I hope so. So the next thing is going to be adding the switch panel. I made this thing here, a bunch of switches. I'm going to run the high pressure pump over this 30 amp relay, even though the switches are supposed to be good for 30 amp, but this pump is, I believe, rated with 21.5 amp. I never really trust switches a lot. It's easier to replace a relay than fumbling with a burned up switch, because switches burning up, they start hanging up and stuff. So I'm going to mount this here for easy operation. I made this cutoff switch right there, and put this little key in, turn this on, and that powers everything up. That also powers up my winch that I got mounted on my foredeck, but that's a different story. So this is my main cutoff switch here. It's convenient, got this little key. And okay, I get back to this video once I got it all wired up, and then we can see if this Watermaker actually works. So here's how this thing goes. I got my main electric switch here. Turn that on, and I got 4 target switches, which 2 of them are the boost pumps. I have one boost pump that's under the water line, close to where the raw water strainer is. So this is the first boost pump, second boost pump, and it's the main pump. Okay, so here we go. First pump turned on. Second pump turned on, which is this one here. So this is the low pressure gauge. Just making sure the pump's working. I'm closing that valve here temporarily. There we go, plenty boost pressure. Open the valve back up. And then I'm going to turn the main pump on. There we go. And now comes the interesting part. I'm going to close the valve, high pressure valve, and watch the pressure going up. It has to go past 800 pounds to push the water through the membrane. There we go. So here we got the water flow. Now some air bubbles still. Okay, so this scale pegs out at 10 gallons per hour. Right now the little ball sits at over 10 gallons per hour. It's gonna drop a little bit. But anyways, yeah, the water is coming out. And here is my test hose. And there we go. And that's how much water is coming out. I already tested it. I don't have that measuring instrument yet, but it definitely it's drinkable. Okay. Yeah, that's that. So yeah, it's all working now. Oh yeah, and here's my pre-filters. 5 micron and a 0.5 micron filter. And now I let this thing work a little bit to fill up the tank. That's probably gonna take a while, but yeah, so the water flow sits at about 9.5, almost 10 gallons per hour, which this is pretty much where this thing is rated at. It's actually rated between, I believe, between 7 and 10 gallons per hour. So it's pretty much on the mark. And this is the 12-volt motor that turns that pump, high pressure pump. Yeah, it's kind of eerie to see, like, right now 900 pounds of pressure going through this fiberglass pipe. Jesus. I hope it doesn't blow up in my face. But it does have a pressure relief valve, so hopefully this is set to the right pressure. Yeah, that's it. Now I'm gonna let it work, and then in another video I'm gonna talk about all the problems I had with it till I got it actually working. And yeah, it's basically all put into my V-berth. Oh yeah, and here's Under here is my water tank. So that makes it all easy.